So no, the problem is when we are aimed, we don't want to play the turn right and turn left animation. But when we are not at aimed state or we are at the unaimed state, we want to play the turn right and turn left animation whenever the mouse moves, okay? So first of all, let's just connect these for turn right and turn left. Let's see what we can do about that. First of all, let me go to animation blueprint and you can see in this AO aim offset Murdoch in here, this aim offset in here, there is an alpha. And if we put this alpha to 0, okay, and compile and run, it won't blend our aim offset to our character. And you can see the gun is not moving. You can see because the alpha is 0. So if we change alpha to 1, we can know if we run, we can look up with our gun and aim down with our gun, right? So we can use this alpha. How we can use it? Let's just go to our third person character in here. And you know that in aiming in here, whenever we press right click, we change the camera location. And when we release it again, we change it back to unaimed location, right? So now what I'm going to do, let's just bring this to the left a little bit, bring this to the left again. And now I want to create a variable in here, create a variable. I want to create a variable of type of float. Why? Because if you go to animation blueprint, this alpha is a float and I want to use that. So create a new variable and I want to call it is aimed. Okay? And I want to change the category to aim. Okay, so on aimed location, and is aimed float should be in the category of aim. So it is organized, right? So now when we are aimed, we want to set this is aimed float. Set it. And when we are at aimed state in here, we want to change is aimed to 1 because we want to use it as alpha in here. When it is 1 and we connect it to this alpha, it will aim, right? It will change the aim of our character. But when the alpha is 0, it won't aim, right? So now let's just connect this execution pin to here. And by this, it will set this is aimed variable. And I want to do that in here and put it when we release the right click button, or if we are not at aimed state, we want to put it at 0 again because we don't want to aim anymore, right? So we know with that set, we can go to our animation blueprint. Of course, we should save and compile in character class, and in animation blueprint, we can go to event graph. And it's a mess right now here, but we will fix that. Now, in here at the end, what I want to do again, I want to get the BP third person character, get it in here, and in here I want to get is aimed. Okay, get is in aim is aimed, and I want to promote it to a variable, right? So is aimed now is in the animation blueprint. Let's just give it the execution pin. Now we have is aimed. Now when we go to our anim graph, let me go to anim graph, we can get that variable and put it in alpha in here. So if we compile, and right now we are not at aimed state, and if we go right, it will go right, right? So it's not aiming. If we go up and down, it's not aiming. But if we hold right mouse button, no, the gun will go up and down. But there is a problem. If we turn right, again, turn right animation is plain, and we don't want that. So let me show you how we can fix that. If we go to our character class, you remember in character movement, we search for rot, okay? And we play with these two option, right? So if we uncheck this and check use control desired rotation, let's just compile to see what will happen. When we aim, we can go up and go down, but again, it will go right and left. So now what I'm going to do in here, right? In here, we don't want to turn right and turn left if we are at the aim state. So in here, in turn right and left calculation for animation, we can check if is aimed is more than 0. Don't calculate this. Don't play the animation. So in here, there is a new node that is called branch. Okay. And with this branch, we can give it execution pin. And in here, we can have a condition. So if this true, whatever that is connected to this true will be executed. And if this is false, like this, whatever that is connected to this false execution pin will be executed. So now I want to use this is aimed. But this is aimed is a float value. So what we can do, we can tell it if it is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, it means we are not aimed and we can play the animation turn right and turn left. So we can check it with this branch, and if this is aimed is 0, we can play the turn right and turn left animation. Now let's just compile and run. No, if I go right, you can see the turn right is working, turn left is working. And if we aim, we can go up, go down, and we can go left and right. But you can see when we go left and right, it is a sliding. It's not doing anything. It's not changing the aim. So what is the problem? Let me show you what is the problem. If we click on character movement and search for rot, you can see the options. And right now we did use controller desired rotation. If we disable this and enable this orient rotation to movement, what will happen when we are not aimed? It won't turn right and left. But if we aim, we can aim right and aim left. Everything is working fine. With aim right, aim up, aim down, everything is working fine with aimed. So when we are at the aim, this orient rotation to movement should be true. And when we are not aimed, this use control desired rotation should be true and this one should be false. So let's just do that. I want to do it here. This time when we are aimed, we want to get the character movement and enable orient rotation to movement to true. But I want to change the use controller desired rotation to false. Okay? So when we are aimed, we want the orient rotation to movement be true and use control desired rotation to be false. Again, if you click in here, you can see it in here. We did test it. And now let's just give it the execution pin to here as well. And we need to do this for this unaimed state as well. In unaimed state, if you remember, the orient rotation to movement should be false and use controller desired rotation should be true. So now let's just give it the execution pin. If we compile and run, no, if we aim, you can see the gun is aiming where we want, right? Go up, down, right, and left, everything is working fine. It's aiming correctly. But when we are not aimed, the turn left and turn right is working fine. You can see everything is working fine. But where we aim, it's aiming correctly. You can see it's beautiful. It has some animation, right? So that was it, guys, for this video. I hope you like it. Please, if you get confused about anything, whatever note, if you think that question that you want to ask is a simple question, don't think about it. Just ask it. I was at your position and I know sometimes it get a little bit confusing. Maybe you need to watch it once, twice, and triple time. But if you ask me the question and explain to me what confused you, I will create a video and answer your question in no time. And I make sure that you get everything in depth.